Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Adam here from Camp Flintlock on lesson 2 for how to read music. And again, these lessons are brought to you by the North Carolina Fife and Drum Corps. So, in this lesson, we will be learning some notes and their values. And behind me here, I have our first few notes that we're going to start off with. Okay, so the first note we're going to talk about is called a whole note, and it is just an open circle. Okay, and then we have a half note, which is an open circle with a tail. We have the quarter note, which is a closed or filled-in circle with a tail. And then we have an eighth note, which is a lot like the quarter note, but you'll see it has a flag on the end of it, or at least what we call a flag on the end of it. Now, I have an eighth note written here two different ways. This is a single eighth note. You don't really see too many eighth notes all on their lonesome. Usually they're strung together, and so this is how it would look if there were two eighth notes. So it's basically attached to the other one. Okay? Now, I'm going to take you guys back to school. We're going to talk fractions, but don't freak out. Okay? This is actually really easy. Now, let's say that we're not talking about music. Let's say we're talking about money, okay? So let's say that a whole note is $1. If you cut a dollar in half, you get a $half or 50 cents. For those of you who don't know, they still do mint $half pieces. All right, so you have a $half. If you cut a half in half, you get a quarter, right? Now, if you cut a quarter in half, you get what? What do you think? You get an eighth, okay? So this is the same as it would be for money, as it would be for measuring the ruler, okay? You have the whole, half, quarter, and an eighth. Now, if you'll notice down here, I have some equivalents. So 2 half notes make up a whole note. 2 quarter notes make up a half note. And I have that wrong. 1 eighth note, or rather 2 eighth notes, because it's joined together there, make up a quarter note. Now, if we wanted to subdivide an eighth note, what's half of an eighth? It's a 16th, and then a 32nd, and a 64th, and as you keep going, you just keep adding little tails. But we're not going to get into that. Right now, we're just going to go to an eighth note. That's as far down as we're going to go. So we have whole note, half note, quarter note, and eighth note. Most of all the music we will be playing will be these two notes. Occasionally we might deal with half notes, but mostly it's going to be with these two notes and maybe a 16th note, which I'll go ahead and I'll draw just so you can see. So if that has one tail as an eighth note, 16th note would have 2 tails. Okay? So that is a 16th note. All right. So, values. This typically in music will get to a count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It would fill up that whole space. A half note is half of 4, so it would get 2. So if you were holding a note or playing a note, it would get 1, 2. All right, and then a quarter note, well, this gets back to the downbeat and the upbeat. That is going to get 1, and it's going to get 2. 1, 2. Now, I may have confused some people there going all the way to 4. Just write that off for now because we're not going to talk too much about whole notes. Okay, so a half note would get 1, 2, and then the quarter note would just get 1, 2. All right, and then the eighth note The first part of the eighth note would be the downbeat. The second part of the eighth note would be the upbeat. So this would be 1 and. All right. So we have 1, 2. We have 1, 2, 1 and. Simple enough, right? So in this video, we covered some of our notes and we covered some of their values. All right, so let's review really quickly. We have the whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, and the 16th note. The whole note in music typically will get 4 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The half note, which is half of that, will get 2. So 1, 2. Quarter note just gets 1, 2. The eighth note gets 1 and then the 16th note would get even less than that. And we'll get into how to count 16th notes later on. But for now, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like it so far, please click the like button. Speak English here in a second. Click the bell and subscribe and make sure that you receive updates on our new posts. Anyway, guys, that's all for me now. Adam here at Camp Flintlock. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.